Over the course of history, women has long been discussed, debated on various platforms. Today, yet again, we hear the roar of a woman's silence in this patriarchal society. Children, welcome to my channel Rendezvous with Reena. On Jennifer's Tigers is written by Andreen Rich. Andreen Rich was born in Baltimore, Maryland, US. Her claim to fame were her feminist ideas and her wide involvement in the contemporary women's movement as a poet and a theorist. On Jennifer's Tigers appeared in her first published book of poems in 1951, A Change of World. Written at a time when divorce was unacceptable, the poem criticizes the traditional institution of marriage, suggesting that it oppresses women. A feminist poem and revolves around the theme of male chauvinism and gender conflicts. The poem uses the figure of Aunt Jennifer and her needlework in order to explore the themes of womanhood, marriage, repression of one's personality, and the importance of artistic expression. It also highlights the theme of victimization of women by their male counterpart. Now let's read the poem. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. So the first stanza portrays Aunt Jennifer's aspirations. Her character is contrasted with her artistic creation, the tapestry on which she has knitted magnificent tigers. Why tigers? Because tigers are the epitome of, or the symbol of courage, fearlessness, guts, boldness, radiance, beauty, and glory. By making magnificent tigers on her screen, Aunt Jennifer is venting out her feelings. And what are her feelings? The dream of wanting to become as bold, as confident, as fearless, as magnificent as tigers. The tiger seems to prance across a screen. Prance means to walk up, to move with high springy steps depicting confidence. So we see a self-assured tigers are contrasted with Aunt Jennifer. The tigers are denizens or the royal inhabitants of the forest. They are bright and powerful like the precious gemstone that is topaz. Yellow color connotates the sun and the fierce energy, which means that the tigers enjoy a sense of freedom far greater than Aunt Jennifer, while the green color reminds of spring and rebirth. They do not fear men beneath the tree, meaning the magnificent animal walks undaunted without any fear, glossy and gleaming with an air of confidence and fearlessness. Now let us read the second stanza. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive way of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. In the second stanza, Aunt Jennifer's present state is depicted. Her fingers are fluttering through her wool, which tells us about her physical and mental weakness, in which she finds it difficult to pull the needle. Why does she find it difficult to pull the needle? Because of the burden of an unhappy marriage, of which the ring is a constant reminder. since this unhappy marriage involves suppression of feelings and the ability to express her desire and achieve her dreams, there is an absence of energy and enthusiasm to carry out the task, which are simply recreational. Moving on to the third stanza. When aunt is dead, her terrified hands would lie, still ringed with the ordeal she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. The hands symbolize Aunt Jennifer as a whole. Though her death would free her from her present miserable state, the wedding ring binds her terrified hands to her ordeals, which will continue to haunt her even after her death. She has always been mastered, controlled, suppressed, subdued by uncle. The only sign of freedom from her present life is her artwork, which she escapes into by depicting the prancing, proud and unafraid tigers, which is what she really wants to be. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid, represents the patriarchal society which continues to rule. The last two lines has got two interpretations, both negative and positive. We can write any, but be sure that you are precise and articulate whatever you are writing. The first interpretation can be that every person resorts to or takes to some means to vent out one's desires and speaks out one's mind. Different people take different ways to vent out themselves, be it writing, singing, dancing, sketching. Similarly, the needlework pattern that Aunt Jennifer is creating is her very own way of expressing her inherent feelings, her innermost feelings that she wants to be as proud, as fearless, as chivalrous as majestic tigers. Even after her death, her work will continue to adorn the walls and the tigers will live the life which she could not live. The second interpretation is the proud tiger symbolize male chauvinist and the patriarchal setup of the society, which suppress women like Aunt Jennifer. Such men will continue to dominate, control and subdue women and prance proudly like a royal tiger, freely and hauntingly without weighing the consequences of their action, and be indifferent to the torments that many aunts like Aunt Jennifer may be facing. The poem is replete with images and symbols. Let's discuss. Aunt Jennifer represents women all over the world, wedged under the tyrannical hand of the patriarchal society. Aunt Jennifer's tigers have been used as a symbol of the terror and oppression perpetrated on women like Aunt Jennifer by the male world. Tigers also symbolize her dreams and desires of being powerful, fearless, decisive and liberated. Uncle donates the oppressor. The wedding band signifies the patriarchal society where command is defined as masculine. Fluttering fingers are the signs of anxiety, nervousness and weakness. Aunt Jennifer is so victimized and oppressed that her frail fingers are not able to carry the weight of something as light as wool. Aunt Jennifer's hands represent the reality of her life. Ringed with ordeals, expresses the struggle of the spirit, the injustice and oppression that Aunt Jennifer suffers but never expresses. Let's discuss some of the poetic devices used in the poem. Alliteration. Now, what is alliteration? Alliteration is the occurrence of the same letter or the sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. The examples are fluttering fingers, prancing proud. Next is metaphor. Use of the topaz to describe the yellow color of the tigers is metaphoric here. Next is anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is the use of the same word in two consecutive lines. Like, they do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. The use of the word they in both the lines. Terrified hands representing her being terrified is a synecdoche and transferred epithet. Then there is pun in the use of the word ringed. First is ring in her finger which sits heavily on her. And the second meaning is difficulties which will always surround her. There is use of the personification also. Tigers prance. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. Now these tigers were being made by Aunt Jennifer on her screen. So they are being personified here, right? Moving on, there is the use of irony. We see the weak, submissive woman weaving a picture of tigers which are strong and fearless. The second is brutal tigers are depicted as chivalric. And the third is even when the creator dies, her art will continue to exist. Now children, this is all ironic. We also see the use of contrast. Use of contrast in Aunt Jennifer is an oppressed woman dominated by male superiority, victimized, fearful, indecisive, weak, timid, feeble, shivering in her fear, stifled and weighed upon by the marriage, whereas the tigers she weaves are chivalric, confident, fearless, assertive, strong and energetic. Now this was all about Aunt Jennifer. Hope you understood it well. Thank you.